president of Petition today.
We are live.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting of the Westfield, Washington Township Board of Zoning Appeals to order for January 11th, 2022. Staff, can you note the presence of a quorum, please?
Ms. Fortier.
Here.
Mr. Morales.
Here.
Mr. Schmitz.
Here.
Mr. McCarty.
Here.
Mr. Buller.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. I wanted to first announce that one item has been withdrawn from the agenda. The final item on the agenda, 1827 West 151st Street, a petition regarding outside storage. That matter has been withdrawn and is not for consideration this evening, or I guess going forward. So if anyone is on board or present because of that petition, that won't be heard tonight. And moving along, first item of business is election of officers for 2022. And our officers are, is it chairman or president? Which is it? We have I know the present officers, I think chairman, that's myself, unless it's president. I don't know what the title is.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay. And then the vice chairman seat is empty. And
Victor is vice.
you're vice?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were pro temp. Well, when Ken,
But he became vice when Ken,
oh, you moved up?
Yeah.
So there's no pro tem.
yeah.
Wow. I knew we had an empty spot.
Nobody else got a shot.
Because we have three,
I mean, it would have defaulted to him anyway, but yeah.
we have three positions, and I'm pretty sure it's chairman, vice chairman, and pro temp.
Yeah, that sounds
Pro
right.
temp for it.
I mean, yeah. I don't think it matters what the
Okay.
title is, but yeah, to be,
Maybe not to you, Dave.
right, yeah. I don't know what the difference between a chairman and a president is, but
A lot of prestige, man.
yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
High paid too.
Oh, high pay.
Any nominations for officers for the coming year?
I'd like to make a motion for Dave Smits for chair.
Second.
Or do you have to say, yes, I can do that?
No, we can do them individually, or we can do them as a slate.
Oh,
I know
okay.
last year we did them as a slate. Once
Okay.
we kind
Sorry.
of had,
Shall I withdraw that?
well, it depends if you want to amend it to
Yeah, you
add
can
other
amend it.
offices.
Oh.
Or do you want to do them one by one? Floor is open for any further nominations.
There you
Nominations are closed. Been motion and a second for myself as chairman for the coming year. Voice vote, I assume?
Yes,
Okay. Voice vote, Dane?
Okay. Mr. Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Buller.
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz.
Yes.
Mr. McCarty.
Yes.
Ms. Fortier.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Victor, you willing to serve as vice?
It's
Okay,
chair.
I'll make a motion.
It's chair and vice chair.
It is vice chair and
Okay.
chair, okay.
Very good.
So, are you willing to serve as either one? I make a motion that Victor McCarty serve as chair,
Oh.
as vice chair. Sorry.
Go ahead and do pro tem.
And would you want to be pro tem?
No.
What is pro tem?
It's like-
You're just third in line. If there's literally only 3 members that are present, then you would become, or whomever, Brian would
So,
become.
I can be pro tem. I don't care.
Yes, I can make you pro tem.
All right, well, we'll do that afterwards.
All right.
And I will second the motion for Victor. Moved and seconded for Victor McCarty as vice chair for 2022. Dane, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Buller.
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz.
Yes,
Mr. McCarty.
Yes.
Ms. Fortier.
Yes.
Motion carries.
thank you. Final position is for pro tem. The floor is open for nominations.
And I will nominate Jeff Bowler for pro tem.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll second the motion for Jeff as pro tem. Dane, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Bowler?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Ms. Fortier?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, and thank you for the officers for 2022. Next item for our consideration is approval of minutes for the last meeting, which was December 14th of 2021. Those minutes have been dispersed, and we've all had the opportunity to review them. Does anyone have any questions, comments, clarifications regarding the December minutes?
Not me.
If not, I will entertain a motion for approval.
I move that we approve the minutes for December 14, 2021.
I second that.
Moved and seconded that we approve the minutes for December 14, 2021. Dane, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Fortier?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Bowler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Minutes are approved. And Dane, can you review the rules and procedures for tonight's meeting?
Due to the COVID-19 emergency as declared by the Governor of Indiana, the format and conduct of the meeting has been modified to comply with executive orders regarding the conduct of public meetings, public hearings, and public gatherings. Relevant portion of the Indiana open door law have been amended or suspended during the pendency of the emergency. For the items requiring a public hearing, tonight's meeting has the following structure. The department will summarize the petition, then the petitioner will be given up to 15 minutes to present to the board. The president will open a public hearing. Individuals will be given 3 minutes to speak. The public hearing will be closed when all interested members of the audience have had a chance to be heard and all emails received during the meeting have been provided to board members. The petitioner will then have a chance to respond to comments, and the board will follow with any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the petition. As far as the rules of conduct this evening, please do not disrupt the proceedings in any way. If you need to have a private discussion, we ask that you please quietly exit the room. Please silence your devices at this time, but if you must answer them, please quietly exit the room. If you are attending in person and wish to speak in regard to a petition scheduled for a public hearing, then please fill out a yellow card. They're available up here on the railing here. Once the public hearing is opened by the president, then you please provide us your yellow card as you approach the podium. During your comments, please state your name and address into the microphone for the record, and we ask that you not repeat previously stated comments. Your presentation will be timed, and you will be advised when there is approximately 30 seconds remaining. If you are not attending in person, comments regarding a petition should be emailed to planners@westfield.in.gov with the petition name or number included in the subject line. Those comments will be forwarded to the board members and the petitioner. We would like to remind everyone to please speak directly into the microphone so your comments can be put onto the record. Also, please mute your microphone when not speaking. Thank you.
Thank you. First item for our consideration tonight is 2201 VS01. And if anyone's looking at the online agenda, that was marked incorrectly, but the correct petition number is as stated before. Subject property address 220 Zenith Drive, Keith Lash, seeking a variance to development standard to encroach 10 feet into a 30-foot minimum rear yard setback in an SF2 district. Staff presenter is Dane Crabtree.
Good evening, members of the board. For the record, Dane Crabtree with the Community Development Department. The item before you this evening is a variance of development standard request for 220 Zenith Drive, a .35 acre parcel in the Spring Mill Park subdivision, which is zoned SF2, single family, low density. The variance request is to encroach 10 feet into the 30-foot minimum rear yard setback so that a swimming pool and deck may be built. The HOA for Spring Mill Park has approved the petitioner's pool plans as seen in Exhibit 4. This item has been properly noticed and advertised. The department has received no comments. If the board is inclined to approve the variance, 2 conditions are recommended in the staff report. Keith Lash, the petitioner, is virtually present this evening. He does not plan to make a presentation, but is available for questions, as am I, if there are any of staff. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go ahead with the public hearing. We'll open the public hearing on this petition at, what is it, 7:09? Okay, thank you. Do we have any cards?
We do not have any cards, and right now we do not have any electronic.
Okay, I'll give it a moment to let any electronic communication come through. communication?
No electronic communication.
Okay, I will close the public hearing at 7:10. Members of the commission, any comments, questions for the petitioner? I will start, Mr. Lash, I assume you are here virtually, correct? Or you're listening?
Correct. Yes.
The staff report has recommended 2 conditions for should this matter be approved. Are you aware of and understand those conditions?
I am, and I do understand and agreement with those.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments?
I have just one comment. They back up to a pond, so it seems like it's, pretty clear that it's not going to be in anyone's backyard. And that the fact that no one has come forward for the neighbors opposing that, that's a good sign. And also the HOA has approved too. So I think there's some good favor for this.
If no comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept 2201-VS-0122 Zenith Drive for the approval of the setback with the recommended conditions as follows: that the property be developed in substantial compliance with the site plan on Exhibit 3, and that the petitioner shall record an acknowledgement of this approval with the county recorder's office and return a copy of the recorded instrument to the Economic and Community Development Department.
Second. Motion by Mr. Bowler to approve 2201 VS-01, seconded by Brian. And staff, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bowler,
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Ms. Fortier,
Yes.
Mr. Morales.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And I will make a motion to adopt staff's findings of fact for the approval of this petition. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Motion by myself, seconded by Ms. Fortier to adopt staff's finding of fact for the approval of 2201 VS-01. Jane, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bowler,
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Ms. Fortier,
Yes.
Mr. Morales.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matters
Thank you for your
approved.
consideration.
Sure, thank you. Next item on the agenda is 2201 VS-02, 512 North Union Street. John Schaff seeking a variance of development standard to encroach 5 feet into the 10-foot side yard setback in the SF3 district to accommodate a swimming pool. Caleb, I believe you are present virtually, and you're the presenter here.
Yep, can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay. So for the record, Caleb Ernest with the Community Development Department. The project before you tonight is a variance of development standard to encroach 5 feet into the 10-foot side yard setback on the property located at 512 North Union Street. The property is zoned the SF3 district. All adjacent properties are also zoned the SF3 district. This item is before you for a public hearing. It has been properly noticed and advertised. Staff did receive one public comment, which I forwarded to you at the beginning of the meeting. Can you please confirm that you received that public comment?
I did. Did everybody seen that? I just saw it when the meeting started, so.
Okay, that public comment is coming from the property owner directly to the north of this property. Yep, that's correct. So John Schaff, the petitioner, he is here, but he does not plan on presenting. He is available for questions, and I'm available for questions for staff. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go ahead then and open this for a public hearing at 7:15. Do we have any cards?
We do. Martessa Conover, please go ahead and approach.
Sure. It is Martessa Conover. My husband and I live at 12 Sleepy Hollow Drive, which is southeast, I guess, of the property that's being developed.
Is it this one I'm having my cursor on?
No. It's a little farther, it's next door to that south. So you see Debbie Court, you're just seeing the very,
Oh, that's a real short.
where the
cul-de-sac.
tree is, basically.
Oh, okay.
Our
Yeah.
house is, we have 2 lots, 12, you can see our driveway right by
Right here,
Court.
okay.
And we own 11 as well. My question is not necessarily about the addition of the property for this homeowner. I've lived in the neighborhood for a very long time, and we've gone through a lot of stormwater issues. It's a very low-lying area. We have a lot of drainage problems. When this house was built, they elevated the property there considerably. And it's a giant house, it's beautiful, it looks like it's gonna be incredible, but it's encompassing a lot of the territory of the lots that were there, where there was a kind of an old farmhouse there for many, many years. And I'm curious if there has been any consideration or if they have looked into the stormwater runoff from that area, because, can I kind of approach the screen real quickly? Oh, right here? So about right here, there is a stormwater drain. They actually, several years ago, ran a whole new system here, all the way along behind our property, and then up the other side of the property to help with the drainage issues there. My concern is that this house that's that's going in now is really big, and of course with this other large partial coming in, I'm worried that there's been any kind of consideration for the stormwater, since there's no ground really to absorb all of the rain from that lot now. It's all gonna pour right into here, and although you can't see it, and this photo's very old, we have a big privacy fence that runs right along that, and it really is, it goes into water when there's a lot of rain there. So I'm not trying to prevent this from happening in any way. I'm trying to find out if there's been any consideration for the stormwater runoff in that area, now that that giant house is there, and it looks like an in-ground pool and so forth going in, so.
Yeah, we'll give the petitioner will have the opportunity to respond to anything that's said in the public hearing afterwards. I will mention one thing, that the scope of what we do, we have a very limited involvement here, and our involvement is purely to address the issue of the pool location. A pool is a permitted use, so what the petitioner is seeking is a variance to locate that pool in a way that encroaches over a side yard setback. So I don't want to appear that your concerns are not valid, it's just those aren't concerns that necessarily come before this group. But Dane could assist you in getting with the people that are involved with drainage issues within the city. Those are things that the builder of the house, my guess is in the permitting process, they had to address some of those concerns. So that may alleviate some of your concerns. But did you have anything else to add?
That's all I had, thank you.
Okay.
And I'll just add, the city does have a stormwater coordinator on staff, so I can provide contact information to you, and you can get in touch with them
Perfect.
for that. Yep.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Are there any other cards?
No additional cards.
Any communication while the public hearing's been open?
No additional communication.
Okay, I will close the public hearing then at 7:20. Mr. Petitioner, I see you in the back of the room. Do you have any background, if you can approach, and then state your name for the public record, and if you have any knowledge from discussing stormwater with Builder at all?
Right, John Schaff, petitioner. Yeah, I'm concerned about it too. So it's obvious that there's a water issue. Where's that mouse? You have a mouse, sir? Yeah, so it is very obvious. So it's always been wet here in this corner. There's some excess vegetation here that maybe compounds that. It looks like there's a storm drain right there. So that was one of the first things when I got the pool builder out there. Then I brought the landscaper out there and I pointed out the problem. And the next step is, you're right, talking to the city to see what can be done. I think there is a pipe that goes this way. I'm not sure where it goes because we can see it feeding in here. Then I think there's a pipe feeding in that way. In addition to this property, I don't know if we can zoom out here, there's two more that I own to the south here. And similarly, I see the pipe going through their backyard, but I agree it needs to be addressed, and I don't know how to do it. It's not necessarily anything that I can do on my property because it probably is more of an issue with this back corner and right there and right there. But yeah, I'd like to solve it, and I don't want to add to the problem, certainly.
Oh, well, and I don't want you to have more problems.
Yeah.
I've lived here long enough to see, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I can speak. I used to go to school board meetings a lot, and I know Robert's rules, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to address it. And so the next step was to talk to the city and then to talk to this property owner. And the thought is we would do something in here and maybe put riprap here. This is a pure guess at this point because we haven't talked to the city. Somehow create some type of small retention area, but it all depends upon the neighboring property owners. There's not much I can do I have no control between, me and this drain here. So if everyone cooperates, yeah, I think we have a shot at addressing it. Okay,
I'm on board.
good, okay.
You're on board.
Thank you. I mean, like I said, that's kind of outside the scope of what we're involved with, but since the parties are here, I thought at least we'd facilitate it and get that process moving forward. Anybody have any questions for petitioner or comments about the petition itself? You indicated in your petition that the neighbor was to the south is on board and.
He is, I
He's
stopped
out.
by his house, I forget his name, do you remember his name?
Yes, it's Mr. Harding.
Harding, yeah, William Harding. Stopped by, he said, yeah, sure, no problem, but he didn't write anything down, but,
Yeah, but
I-
he's
he's
not
on board.
objecting, so I just wanted to mention that. Also, there have been 3 recommended conditions for the approval of this petition that are in the staff report. Are you aware of those?
No.
And comfortable with them?
let's hear him.
They are, number 1, that this encroachment variance shall be only permitted on the south side yard setback of the property. Number 2, that the home and pool be constructed substantially compliant with Exhibit 3. And Exhibit 3 was that plus the house plans.
Okay.
Yeah. And finally, the petitioner shall record an acknowledgement of this approval with Hamilton County Recorder's Office and return a copy of the recorded instrument to the Community Development Department. So really, the substantive ones are 1 and 2.
Okay, agreed.
Okay? Any additional questions or concerns from the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve 2201-VS-02, 512 North Union Street with the following recommended conditions. Number 1, that this encroachment variance will only be permitted on the south side yard setback of the property. Number 2, that the home and pool be constructed substantially compliant with Exhibit 3. And number 3, that the petitioner shall record an acknowledgement of this approval with the Hamilton County Recorder's Office and return a copy of the recorded instrument to the Community Development Department.
I'll second that.
Motion by Victor, seconded by Jeff, to approve 2201-VS-02, subject to the conditions, the 3 conditions stated in the staff report. Dan, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Ms. Fortier?
Yes,
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Bowler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, and I'll make a motion to adopt staff's findings of fact for the approval of this petition. We have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by myself, seconded by Ms. Fortier, to adopt staff's findings of fact in the staff report for the approval of 2201-VS-02. Dan, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Ms. Fortier?
Yes,
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Bowler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. John, it's approved.
Okay, thank you.
Third and final item on the agenda is 2201-VS-03. 15030, Little Eagle Creek. Kylan Stuck, seeking a variance of development standard to encroach 17 feet into a 30-foot side yard setback in the AGSF1 district to accommodate a porch addition. And the presenter is Caleb.
Yep, thank you, President, members of the board. For the record, Caleb Ernest, the Community Development Department. The project before you tonight, as stated, is a variance of development standard to encroach 17 feet into the 30-foot side yard setback on the property. Property is located at 15030 Little Eagle Creek. The property is zoned AGSF1, and all adjacent properties are also zoned the AGSF1 district. This item is before you for a public hearing. It has been properly noticed and advertised, and staff has received no public comments. Kylan Stuck, petitioner, is here virtually. He does not plan on present, but he is available for questions, as am I, should you have any for staff. Thank you.
Thank you. In the absence of a presentation, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Whoops, mic's off. I'll open the public hearing at 7:27. Do we have any cards?
We do not.
Okay. And I presume nothing electronic?
Not at this time.
Caleb, did you say you've not had any public comment?
Correct.
Thank you.
We have no further communication.
Okay. I'll go ahead and close the public hearing then at 7:28. And see, Mr. Stuck, I believe you're present. You can hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
Great, thank you. Wanted to confirm with you that you're aware of and are okay with the recommended conditions for approval that are contained in the staff report. Have you read those 3 conditions?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and those, you're okay, you're aware of those and are okay with those?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Great, thanks. It looks like from from the location map, there's quite a bit of unimproved property north of you. Is that which mitigates any concern with what you're doing? What is located to the north of you, where your porch area is?
So that property owner owns 110 acres of land, and it uses most of the land for cattle farming, which is on the other side of Little Eagle, Eagle Creek there. Little Eagle.
The other side of the creek?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the rest of the property there is not used.
Okay,
It's
great.
about 5 to 7 acres. Of
So
the
it really
100.
has no visual impact on any property owner then, right? What you're trying to do?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else, anyone? Not, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve 2201 VS02 at 512, oh, I'm so sorry, 2201 VS03, 15030 Little Eagle Creek, Avenue with the recommended conditions for approval that the deck addition be installed in substantial compliance with Exhibit 3, that this encroachment variance only be permitted for the existing deck and deck addition as shown in Exhibit 3, and that the petitioner shall record an acknowledgement of this approval with the Hamilton County Recorder's Office and return a copy of the recorded instrument to the Community Development Department.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Fortier, seconded by Mr. McCarty to approve 2201BS03, subject to the 3 recommended conditions for approval in the staff report. Jane, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Ms. Fortier?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Buller?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And I'll make a motion to adopt staff's finding of fact for the approval of 2201BS03. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by myself, seconded by Mr. Bowler to adopt staff's findings of fact for the approval of this petition. Dane, can you call the roll?
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Ms. Fortier?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Buller?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Kylan, thank you. Your petition's approved.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
That can you. You're late to it. I think he's gone. That concludes the business portion of the meeting as far as reports and comments. Plan Commission liaison.
Yeah, we didn't meet that, okay. I was just trying to piece together my calendar in my head. All right, so we last met on 12/20/21, and items of business I have marked down here. Really the biggest development that we took a vote on for a recommendation was Urban Apples, which we voted on 7-2 with a positive recommendation. The petitioners really worked hard and to add, subtract, just items that fellow commissioner members saw best fit for the development. It was at City Council last night, but no vote was taken on it then. And then we just had Casey Corner, the ODP and primary plat, which is 80 lots on 11 acres. And that is at the connection of Ditch and Casey Road. And then the Chatham Hills vacating lots 5 through 27 and 29 through 31 in Chatham Villages. Both of these last 2 projects had a 9-0 approval.
Thank you. And staff, anything from the Community Development Department?
No, we did receive a couple of applications, so we will have a February meeting.
Great. Thank you very much. I will make a motion that we adjourn at 7:34. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by myself, seconded by several, to adjourn at 7:34. Voice vote. Dane?
Ms. Fortier?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Buller?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
New Year, Jeff.